Well, the entire mission in Haiti is under threat. And this is because any mission in a particular country depends on three main things. One is the international community cooperation, and two is the domestic support, and number three is the internal administrative coordination of that particular country. Now, number one and two are still fine, and we are still working on it in terms of countries that have said that they will deploy. We are seeing even Bahamas just the other day deployed. In terms of domestic support, we saw that there are people who are actively assisting the MSS forces in Haiti when they were doing their last raid. They helped them fill the trenches and everything. So in terms of domestic support, we are seeing some little support from the Haitians towards the MSS forces. Now, number three is where the problem is, and that is internal administration and coordination. Slowly, we are seeing some rifts taking place in the Haitian leadership. Just after the previous head of Presidential Transitional Council, LeBlanc, left, we are seeing a rift that is emanating between the Prime Minister and the president of the Presidential Transitional Council, that is Leslie Voltaire. And if you can remember very well, previously when Edgar LeBlanc was leaving, he left as a person who was not happy to leave that position to Leslie Voltaire. He said that there are some people in the Presidential Transitional Council who were not supposed to be there and who were participating in making that Presidential Transitional Council, yet they were implicated in corruption charges. And that was seemingly the start of all this rift, because after Leslie Voltaire has taken office, we are seeing a lot of changes that he's proposing in the current government. He has proposed to remove ministers from their offices, and there are no clear people who are supposed to fill these positions that he is proposing that they should be vacated. We know that he has also proposed that the only female, that is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is the only woman in that transitional council, that she should also vacate the office. And the Prime Minister has come out to say that he is opposing the kind of changes that are being proposed by the president of the PTC, that is Leslie Voltaire. And this rift between these two top leaders is not doing Haiti any better, because this is the time that Haiti needs to be solidly in support of the administration, and the goals that the administration is supposed to do should be in unison, that they should fight the gangs and they should restore their country back. There is no point at all for leaders to have divergent views in a time of serious crisis the way Haiti is in. Well, the Caribbean community has tried to speak about this issue, and they have released a statement and said that the issues that they are bringing into the public light are not assisting the situation in Haiti currently, and say that when the Caribbean community started the conversation on forming this Presidential Transitional Council in March, they envisioned a Presidential Transitional Council or an administration that will work in unison, that will work with one agenda and one goal to return Haiti back on its feet and to make sure that elections are held in February of 2026. That is the mandate of the Presidential Transitional Council. Now, when the president of the Presidential Transitional Council and the Prime Minister would wash their dirty linen out in public, it only plays to the tune of the gangs, because they are saying that what government are you guys leading while we are here and can offer alternative leadership? We can offer alternative philosophies to how this country will be led. This is also playing in the minds of the citizens of Haiti that are now losing support to the administration in place, that are losing support to the government and the decisions therein that will come, because the government has to make decisions. And if the government will not have the support of the people, then these people will not even support the decisions that will come with the government. And these decisions include the fact that the MSS are in the country supporting the Haitian National Police. So it is a domino effect kind of a thing. When one of these three main things is not working, the mission is under threat. And that is why I started by saying that the Haitian mission is under threat, because if the administration will not have one solid voice on working towards Haitian peace and on working towards an election, a free and fair election, then the entire mission will be compromised. And if you can remember, this mission was assented last year, end of last year, when the UNSC sat down and gave an okay to this mission last year, October. And after it was assented by the UNSC, there was months delay because of the fact that there was no administration that could support the mission, the MSS mission in the country. And that is why Kenya delayed for a few months, and Kenya had to deploy late in June. That was solely because there was no government, and a mission has to work within the confines of law, within the confines of the administration. So there must be an administration that can have a top-down kind of an order where the troops will go and what they will operate, because that is their country. That is not MSS country. That is not anyone else's country. That is Haiti, and it belongs to Haitians, and it belongs to the authority in Haiti. So that is why Kenya had to delay until Haiti had a representative government that was formed by the CARICOM community so that it could facilitate the mission in Haiti. Well, if you are seeing this administration disintegrating, if you are seeing them disagreeing in public, then that means that mission can get a lot of challenges in getting commands, in getting clear instructions on what to do, on getting clear information on the next course of action. Because if you're having the Prime Minister saying this and the head of the Presidential Transitional Council saying the other, it can seriously affect the outcome of the activities of the multinational security support organization that is in Haiti at the moment. The statement from CARICOM also pointed out the fact that the disagreements are undermining the confidence that Haitian partners have in the leadership in Haiti, because they had a sit down and they had a lengthy discussion on how to form the Presidential Transitional Council, and they handpicked these people to be in the leadership of the Haitian Presidential Transitional Council. So these disagreements, and even the Prime Minister, these disagreements between the Prime Minister and the PTC is undermining the confidence that the partners have in Haiti. Remember, there are a lot of partners in this mission and in the formation of that administration. The Caribbean community is involved. Kenya is very, very much involved. The United States is involved. Canada is involved. There are very many countries that were involved in making the administration and the mission possible. So when these disagreements are happening, all these partners are losing their faith in making it work, making everything in Haiti work as they had targeted, as they had envisioned when this Presidential Transitional Council came in. And you remember at that time when even President Ruto posted about it and said that now he is ready to deploy because there is a recognized administration in Haiti. Lastly, these sudden changes in government, as proposed by Leslie Voltaire, the president of the PTC, are unnecessary, irresponsible, and can cause instability in the nation. This is because the information that now flows within the government is very, very critical and needs to go all through. When we have different people filling positions just because there has been a new president of the Presidential Transitional Council, then it begs the question of where is the continuity of government when someone else steps in power. First of all, the head of the Presidential Transitional Council is not elected by the people. Therefore, he or she doesn't have that much laxity in power to be able to do all these changes because they have just stepped in power. It means that anyone else who would have come there, then they would disrupt the entire working of the government just because they have stepped in power. And that should not be the case. The Prime Minister, as the head of government, should be able to take charge and be able to lead the ministers and have that flow of information, because now all the stakeholders in place, CARICOM and the MSS, have already established a relationship. They have already established a channel of communication with the existing ministers, with the existing leaders of government. Therefore, it is very important to have very minimal changes to enable the mission to be successful and to enable Haiti to go through an election. That does not mean that no one should be able to leave office if they have really done an offense. It only means that there should be very minimal disruptions in government as at now, because this is a very critical moment. As the head of the Presidential Transitional Council wanted even to change the Minister of Interior, who is very much involved in what is happening, the missions that are happening in the country regarding the Haitian National Police and the MSS forces. Therefore, it is very, very important to have minimal changes at this time to ensure that the mission is successful. Then these other administrative changes can be made after that, and that will enable Haiti to be back on its feet, and the mission thus will be successful.